A very good evening and welcome to Weekend Primetime News, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
A revelation about an attempt to appoint close associates of the Prime Minister to the UNP Working Committee. Minister Akila Viraj refutes allegations with regard to the appointments made to the UNP Working Committee. A vehicle import fraud exposed through an investigation in Parliament. A former secretary to a ministry accused of wasting more than $20 million of public funds breaks down in tears before the Presidential Commission. Dilrukh Hidayat's response to audio recording released.
And now the stories in detail. Backbench MPs of the United National Party revealed an attempt to appoint close associates of the Prime Minister to the UNP Working Committee.
As per the constitution of the UNP, the Working Committee consists of 92 members. However, as of today, the committee consists of only 68 members. A group of UNP MPs allege of attempts being made to appoint a group of close associates of the leadership to fill in the 24 vacant positions.
We have learned that in order to fill the vacant positions of the Working Committee, appointments are being given to a selected group of more than 20 MPs. We kindly request them to refrain from doing such degrading activities that will take the UNP a step back.
The
chairman of the Election Commission says that appointments should not be made, particularly during the election season. I believe such appointments made by our party linked to the selection of a presidential candidate is not morally acceptable at this point in time. I believe the presidential candidate of the UNP should be selected and not the appointments to the Working Committee.
Meanwhile, General Secretary of the UNP, Akila Viraj Karyawasam, MPs Professor Ashu Marasinghe, Kavinda Jayawardena, Colombo District Organizer Priyantha Padberia and State Minister Dilip Vedarachi visited temple trees today.
අපි නිතරම තියෙන විශේෂයෙන් පක්ෂය ගැන ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිවරණය ගැන ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිවරණයේ ජයග්‍රහණය කරන එක ගැන විවිධ සාකච්ඡා තියෙනවා. ඔව් අද මේ කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩල රැස්වීමක් මොකක්ද තිබුණා ගන්න. කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයේ රැස්වීමක් තිබුණෙත් නැහැ. ඒ වගේම ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් කතා කරේ නැහැ අද. කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයෙන් ටිකක් සමාද වෙනවා. නෑ ඒක
No, that is a complete lie. There is no such plan to appoint new members to the Working Committee. I am the General Secretary of the party. If such a thing was to take place, I would be aware.
එහෙම එකක් නෑ කොහොමද? අවසාන වශයෙන් පක්ෂයේ ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයන් සම්බන්ධයෙන් තෝරා ගැනීම එන සතිය අන්තිම වෙද්දී අපිට තීරණය කරන්න පුළුවන් දිනයක් පුළුවන් අපිට. නිශ්චිත දින.
I cannot mention a specific date. It was supposed to be on Wednesday, but there was a request made to set a clear date that was convenient to all of us. Therefore, the date may change by 1 or 2 days.
වෙන දවසක් දාමු කියලා ඉල්ලීමක් කරලා තිබ්බා. ඒ නිසා මම හිතන සමහර දවසක් දෙයක් වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර മന്ത്രിවරු
When I hear the statements made by certain MPs, I request all of them to first read the UNP constitution. Certain MPs claim new appointments will be made to the Working Committee. However, as per the party's constitution, you cannot make such appointments.
ඒතර එහෙම වෙන්න බෑනේ පක්ෂ ව්‍යවස්ථාන එහෙම බඳව ගන්න නැහැ.
This was MP Hesha Vitanage's response to the statement made by UNP National List MP Professor Ashu Marasinghe.
I have with me the constitution of the United National Party. I am aware of the process as to how members are appointed to the Working Committee. We urge the Working Committee to refrain from going against the party's constitution and to use their powers in a morally acceptable manner. This particular MP has been making all sorts of statements in the recent past. He tries to create divisions among the party. We know where he was and we know where he plans to go. There is no doubt about that. We are MPs who stand with the innocent United National Party loyalists.
During a media briefing convened at Minister Mangala Samaraweera's residence, it was stressed that both the Working Committee and the parliamentary group must gather and obtain an opinion in order to select the presidential candidate.
At present, the member parties that joined the UNP to form the United National Front have met, discussed and pledged their support to Sajith Premadasa. This has been informed to the leader of the UNP, Ranil Wickremesinghe. Since we all must contest the elections, and since we do not have any difference between us, it is important if all 107 of us gather and reach a final decision.
අපි 107 දෙනාම රැස් වෙලා මේ තීරණය ගන්නව නම් ඒකත් වටිනවා.
කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයත්
It was the working committee and the parliamentary group that paved the way for President Maithripala Sirisena to his current position. The decision was taken by these two groups, so why can't we follow the same to pave the path for Sajith Premadasa as well?
අපිට සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසටත් ඒ තත්ත්වය උදා කරන්න.
Meanwhile, a member party of the United National Front, the Jatika Hela Urume, released a statement regarding the delay in nominating a presidential candidate. The statement notes they do not agree with the UNP's working committee's efforts in selecting the presidential candidate. Extract, quote, "The process of selecting the presidential candidate should incorporate the participation of member parties as well. Secondly, we doubt as to how democratic the structure and composition of the party's working committee is. Accordingly, our view is it is best if the selection of the presidential candidate is done by the parliamentary group of the United National Front and not the working committee." Certain events that have taken place recently have made democracy a big joke. Certain political parties have not yet selected their presidential candidate. This is an era where I can appoint the working committee and expect the working committee to field me as the presidential candidate. The proposal that provincial council MPs should be given is the opportunity to choose a presidential candidate was first put forward in 1995. This is common to both the UNP and the SLFP. We are in a country where democracy is left aside, the people and their mandate is ignored, and the presidential candidate is chosen by close associates and friends. This is not democracy.
ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයෝ තෝරන රටක තමයි අපි. මේක ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී වේදිනේ.
In a related note, the CNA Gajasavi Balakaya convened a media briefing in Tiharia, Gampaha today. Let's take a look.
There is a new rumor that 30 of them are to be appointed for the working committee. This should have been done earlier. Why are they making these appointments now? The leader works to the tune of 4 or 5 of them in the party. So the leader should decide if he is going to work to the tune of these 4 or 5 of them or listen to the opinion of the public. He thinks that without giving it, it goes to someone else. He would still remain the Prime Minister, and that is more than enough for him, even if the party is destroyed. When the representatives of the tri-sets are requesting that Minister Sajith Premadasa be the presidential candidate, I don't understand why Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe doesn't understand this. He won't even respect the Mahasangha. Ranil Wickremesinghe is someone who won't even obey the advices given by the Mahasangha.
What is this that's been done? The people in the villages are distressed. Don't pretend to not hear all of this. Don't push the people to the limit of egging, booing and throwing tomatoes. The people will not vote if Sajith Premadasa from the UNP is not put forward. This is for the Prime Minister's attention. Don't push us to the point of burning our vote in the middle of the Tiharia junction. So understand this situation and appoint the young leadership of Sajith Premadasa for 2020.
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්මාව පත් කරන ලැබෙන තාමත් ගෞරවයෙන් අපි පණිවිඩයක් ලබා දෙනවා අපගේ අගමැතිතුමාට. අගමැතිතුමා කියන
We are not ready to vote for those that the Prime Minister wants us to vote for. We request the Prime Minister to take a step back and give the chance to Sajith Premadasa. Where Sajith Premadasa stands, the voter will stand beside him. Ranil will be abandoned.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed the following views on the number of working hours a day.
Since this was done by our Minister of Education, Akila Viraj Karyavasam, much attention has been paid and his leadership has spearheaded this project for 5 years. As a result of this leadership, there is a major development. Out of his 24 hours, 25 is spent on educational matters. 6 of them are allocated for the matters of the party. That is how this is being done. I appreciate him and his ministry.
The Prime Minister, who commented on the number of working hours per day in such a manner, expressed the following views on the proposal brought before the Cabinet to abolish the executive presidency.
It is not a matter to be surprised that various organizations make this an issue. During the first half of this week, certain civil societies, religious associations requested for the 20th Amendment by the JVP be passed in Parliament. I did not participate in those meetings. The President called me and asked if we can discuss this matter before the Cabinet. Since this hasn't been discussed between our parties, I said that we can discuss this here. The President convened a Cabinet meeting that afternoon. We should openly discuss this. It is our duty, especially because of the upcoming elections.
Taking a look at one of our headline-making stories, Parliament ordered that an immediate report on the importation of vehicles by paying low customs duties by fraudulently classifying the import under special purposes. Now, this was revealed as a result of an inquiry conducted by the Parliamentary Accounting Committee. 414 vehicles have been imported in the manner from 2010 and 2014, and another 112 vehicles during the year 2018.
Importers purchase vehicles overseas and convert them to label them as special purpose vehicles. So they temporarily install a compressor and a welding machine and import the vehicle. These vehicles, which ideally are dual purpose, should pay customs duty of approximately 4.5 million rupees. However, after making these adjustments, they only pay 1 million rupees. Then they register these vehicles as dual purpose at the Department of Motor Traffic. Is there any method in place to identify this trend? Why were another 62 vehicles released to this importer while an inquiry and a court case at the Court of Appeal was ongoing against this particular importer? When this vehicle is released, it is nothing but a normal vehicle. The generator can be removed and installed. A tax is not charged for this. So when the generator is removed, the vehicle can be classified as a dual-purpose vehicle.
ජෙනරේටර් ටැක්ස් එකක් නැහැ. වාහනේ විශේෂ වාහනයක් විදිහට ඒ වාහනේ රිලීස් වෙනවා. මේකෙන් කවුද රිලීස් කරන්නේ? රේගුවේ. ඔබතුමා රේගුවේ නේද? ඔව්.
So is there any method in place for the department to block or blacklist an importer who is under investigation, or is there room for those importers who commit such wrongdoings to continue?
ඒ ආකාරයෙන්ම කරගෙන යන්න අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා. අපි ඇත්තටම දැන් මේකේ මෙහෙම නඩුවක් පෙන්ඩින් තියෙද්දි NC ඩිසිෂන් එක පෙන්ඩින් තියෙද්දි එම ආනයනකරුටම තවත් වාහන 62ක් රිලීස් කරන්න රේගුව ඉඩ දුන්නා කියන්නේ ඒක බරපතල වැරද්දක්.
නිලධාරී කවුද එතන?
අදාළ නිලධාරී හිටපු.
The decision was taken by the former chairman of the NC before his retirement on the 7th of May. However, this decision is yet to be communicated even to the Attorney General.
ගවර්න්මන්ට් එකටවත් රේගුවේ විමර්ශනය කරන අපිටවත්.
ඉතින් එතකොට මෝටර ප්‍රවාහන දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට මොන ලියකියවිලිද ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ?
ජපානයේත් මේගොල්ලෝගේ
There are programs in place in Japan for such purposes. It was the same shipper who bought in these 92 vehicles. Both companies have a collaboration. I am sure of this. So they purchase vehicles from overseas and re-register them as special purpose vehicles. They deregister the vehicle the same day it is re-registered. As a result, the deregistration certificate states that the vehicle is for special purposes. This has been arranged through customs to send the vehicle. When the vehicle arrives in the island, a section of vehicles are detained. They then accept their declaration and release the vehicles. Afterwards, together with the RMV, the vehicle is registered under dual purpose.
එළියට දාලා ඊට පස්සේ මේ RMV එකත් එක්ක මේලා ඒක රෙජිස්ටර් කරනවා ඩුවල් පර්පස් හැටියට.
ඒ නිලධාරීතුමා තමයි ඒ වාහන ටික සීස් කරලා ගෙනලා තිබුණේ.
This officer was the one who had seized and bought in the vehicles. The director was informed that 2 seizures had taken place. There was an ongoing court case, and when the Director General had to present an affidavit, there was an issue as to which inquiry it was.
ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණා. ඒක උත්තරයක් දෙන්න ඕනේ කොයි ඉන්ක්වයරි එකද මේක තීරණය කරන්න කියලා.
No inquiry, nothing. No inquiry, nothing. No document verification, nothing.
The ship arrives on the 15th. The entry was submitted and then released on the 18th. It was released to obstruct this and to allow another branch to dig into this investigation. This is clear. During similar incidents in the past, such inquiries or verification was not done and were released as dual-purpose vehicles. However, this information was not revealed. This is the issue. Previously, 12 vehicles were released without any inquiry or guarantee and were registered as dual-purpose vehicles.
ප්‍රශ්නේ. කලින් වාහන 12ක් ඒ විදිහට රිලීස් කරලා without any inquiry, without any guarantee, right? They have registered as dual-purpose vehicles.
මම අපෙන් ඇහුවා මම මේ නඩුවලට මම සම්බන්ධ නැහැ.
පැහැදිලි කිරීමෙන් අපට පේනවා ඉතින්.
මම පැහැදිලි කරේ නෛතික තත්ත්වය
කරුණාකර ලේකම්තුමා 8 වෙනිදා වෙනකොට මේ වාහන පිළිබඳව තිබෙන
ප්‍රශ්නික පිළිබඳව කමිටුවක් නම් කරලා අපි 8 වෙනිදා 10ට මේ ඔබතුමාලේ කමිටුවේ ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය සහ ගත තීන්දුව පිළිබඳව වාර්තාවක් අපට අරගෙන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එන්න ඕනේ.
Kelly Rambukwala revealed details of a telephone conversation said to have taken place between chairman of Avantgarde Nisanka Senadipati and former Director General of the Bribery Commission Dilrukshi Dias yesterday. Here are some of the views expressed in this regard.
ඒකමට හම්ුණක් මේ මොකද මම ජීවිතේට හිතුණා නම් මේක වගේ බිස්නස් කරලා කියලා මම ජීවිතේට ඔයගොල්ලෝ දඩුව දාන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද මේ කර්මකාර දේශපාලනය හන්දා ඔය කරපු මම ඔයාගේ ඔෆිස් එකේ තියෙන 500කට වැඩිය ලියුම් කියලා තියෙන ගේකෙන් මම පර්සනලි හැම ලියුමක්ම කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒක හන්දා මම දන්නවා every good I know how you when the officers are in the shape how you looked after the families. මම ඇත්තටම නිශංකා මම හරිම දුක් වුණා. මම පුදුම විදිහට දුක් වුණා. මම මේ කවුද ගොඩ රජවක්සට විරුද්ධව නරුදාන්නේ. මම ඇත්තටම ඒ කරපු මුළු මේ වැඩ කරම රිග්‍රෙට් වෙනවා. I know how to break the law and make the law both.
Former Director General of the Bribery Commission Dilrukshi Dias responded to the recordings released on her Facebook page today.
Quote, Nisanka Senadipati, as a public officer, I am not permitted to explain the telephone conversation that you have released. Therefore, please respond to the following. 1. Please disclose to the public the name of the minister who gave me the telephone and why. Since you have distorted the telephone conversation, please publish the entire telephone conversation.
The Honourable Attorney General, having regard to the content of the conversation of the Solicitor General and in the face of her admission to her voice in the recording, the Honourable Attorney General has decided to refer the matter to the Public Service Commission, requesting that a preliminary inquiry in terms of the relevant provisions of the Establishment Code by a person appointed by the Public Service Commission be held immediately. The Attorney General will be making this reference to the Public Service Commission on Monday.
President Maithripala Sirisena expressed these views during a meeting today.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයට පෙට්ටියක දාලා ඇන ගහන්න ලැබෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. හදිසියේ බිහිවෙච්ච පක්ෂවලට වැඩිය ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයට ඉතිහාසයක් තිබෙනවා.
When compared with political parties that formed in a rush, the SLFP has a history. Ravi Karunanayake called me on Thursday morning. He said that the Prime Minister is asking to convene an emergency cabinet meeting and told me to inform the President. I then said, Ravi, you shouldn't be saying this. It should be the Prime Minister. He didn't respond then. I called Ranil Wickremesinghe. He said that all agreed to present the proposal to abolish the executive presidency and to convene in the evening. The proposal was already sent, Cabinet Secretary with Prime Minister's signatures. When the Cabinet convened at 3, Ranil Wickremesinghe went to the Cabinet Secretary and said not to present the Cabinet paper he gave. I pretended like I didn't hear. I then said I convened the meeting and to present the proposal. As soon as Ranil Wickremesinghe started speaking, ministers from his party shouted. I then asked them not to fight here and to resolve their issues elsewhere. And then I concluded the meeting.
දැන් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා අද තියෙනවා පත්තරවල කියලා ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ උවමනාවට තමයි කැබිනට් රැස්වීම ගැන කියලා වැඩේ බකල් වෙලා වෙන්න තියෙන ඒවා ඔක්කොම කරගෙන තමන්ගේම ඇමතිවරුන්ගෙන් ගුටි කාලා හොඳටම නාගෙන මේක දැන් මගේ ඇඟේ දාන්න හදනවා. මේ බෝම්බ පිපිරීමෙන් පස්සේ
We are now planning on taking $500 million worth of samurai stocks from the Japan stock market.
පළවෙනි වතාවට
I would like to state that even if you are an employee in the private sector or the public sector or a farmer, an entrepreneur, a fisherman, your income was increased between 50% to 100%.
No government has worked for the villages as much as this government.
මේ ආණ්ඩුව තරම් ගමට වැඩ කරපු ආණ්ඩුවක් නැහැ.
Four years and 9 months after assuming office as Prime Minister, Ranil Wickremesinghe announced even more plans for the further upliftment of Sri Lanka's economy. Here's a continuation of yesterday's report.
Plans, plans and more plans. Never-ending plans. On the 5th of November 2015, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe presented his third-generation economic reforms package in Parliament. His proposals included the establishment of a state holdings company similar to Temasek Company in Singapore, creation of a public wealth trust with the Secretary of the Treasury and Governor of the Central Bank as the custodians, to create an international trade agency to handle all aspects of international trade, amalgamate ETF and EPF to create a new national pension fund. Apparently dissatisfied by these plans, in October 2017, the Prime Minister launched Vision 2025 in the pursuit of a grandly titled Sri Lanka's Path to Prosperity. Significant features of those plans were to make Sri Lanka an export-orientated economic hub in the Indian Ocean, per capita to be raised to $5,000, 1 million new jobs, increase FDI to $5 billion per year, double exports to $20 billion per year by 2020. Sri Lanka has been treated to a whole series of plans that have not been effected. Instead, many of these plans have resulted in a negative impact on our country. Wickremesinghe promised 1 million, presumably new jobs. Instead, central bank figures reveal that in the public sector there were, in fact, 440,000 jobs less than before. The record after 4.5 years in power. The exchange rate was 131 to the US dollar in 2015. Today, it is 180 rupees. Interest rates are high. Exports are stagnating. The stock market is stuck in a rut. The manufacturing sector is struggling. Sri Lanka has failed to attract any significant new FDI business apart from hoax projects like the Volkswagen plant. We are reminded of what happened to the central bank in terms of the bond scam after Wickremesinghe arbitrarily asked for the system of issuing bonds to be changed. The bond scam has not only played a pivotal role in highlighting corruption and conflict of interest, but has severely affected the economy. The scam has played its own role in driving away foreign investment with a net outflow of rupees 23.2 billion in 2018 and rupees 5.5 billion during the first quarter of 2019. All because it is the very people who are administering the affairs of the nation who, either through inaction or otherwise, perpetrated this fraud. The people of Sri Lanka will be stuck with the effect of this fraud for at least another 30 years. Mr. Wickremesinghe's governance has been marked for its significant but pie-in-the-sky grand plans. Specifically, the nation is reminded of an attempt to establish an oil refinery project in Hambantota. A $4 billion project was handed over to a startup and ultimately led to 3 cabinet ministers transforming themselves into salesmen trying to persuade the government of Oman to make an investment. Predictably, nothing has come out of it thus far. These are the plans and more plans of Mr. Wickremesinghe. There has been much talk but little implementation, leaving the people and analysts to ponder if these further plans are merely a ruse to stay in power. Or, put another way, is Wickremesinghe planning on extending his reliance on the public purse for a few more years beyond the 40 years he has already had? The people are aware. A change in the first among equals, and necessarily from the leadership of the United National Party, is simply a prerequisite for success.
Also in local news, Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna presidential candidate Gotabaya Rajapaksa together with the opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa attended an alms giving today.
The almsgiving was held at UPFA MP Rohitha Abegunawardana's residence in Payagala to commemorate his birthday.
මේ වන විට දැන් මම පුණා තම්පත් කරානේ. ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය සහ ඔබතුමාලාගේ පක්ෂය අතර තියෙන සාකච්ඡාවල මට්ටම
කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ දැන්.
No, there is no party left. The rest are holding discussions with the president.
අවසන් කරනවා.
ඊගන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ සහභාගීත්වයෙන් නැතුව ජනාධිපතිවරණය සඳහා ඉදිරිපත් වෙන එකද ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ?
නෑ.
No. I believe that the SLFP will stand with us because it is unlikely that they would join hands with the UNP. The president has very clearly stated that he wouldn't work for the UNP.
ජාතික පක්ෂයට වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
මේ මෛත්‍රී මහත්තයා මේ පාර මොන වගේ ආප්පයක් අයිද?
Another phase of the Samata Sevana program got underway in Agunukula Palace, Hambantota recently.
The event was held at the Mahavali Stadium in Agunukula Palace to provide benefits to 947 families in the area worth 85.1 million rupees. The ceremony was held under the auspices of Deputy Leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa.
Now you can observe a majority expresses positive opinion on Sajith Premadasa's presidential candidacy. On the other hand, another group criticizes. Some of them fear to hand over responsibilities to someone who completes them, because some of them fear that the nation will be properly served. I believe the time has come to step into a new journey. I won't accept the responsibility of the nation to develop the standards of my family. My intention is to crown the citizens of this nation. All of you.
Senior leader of the Bharatiya Janata Party in India, Subramanian Swamy, made this revelation during his visit to Namal Rajapaksa's wedding. He said that 17 branches of the organisation named RSS is in operation in Sri Lanka.
The main intention of the RSS is to spread Hinduism and to eradicate any ideology that opposes those of Hinduism. It's such an organisation that are now stationed in Sri Lanka. The main reason to send the RSS is to find out what is happening here in Sri Lanka. The Indian RAW organisation, the Indian Secret Service, usually maintains close ties with such organisations. It's said that information about the April 21st attacks was provided from India. The question here is, how did the RAW organisation provide such information about the April 21st attacks? If you take a look at such suicide attacks throughout history, in nowhere have information about the attacks have been provided prior to it. Gathering information might be one reason why the Indian stationed RSS here in Sri Lanka. This is not completely due to an attack or to create chaos. At a time where Sri Lanka is caught up in between much attention by international powers, this might be an attempt to create more chaos inside the country and turn that situation to the benefit of these foreign powers.
The United Nations Population Fund in Sri Lanka hosted a panel discussion in Colombo today.
The panel discussion was held under the theme Ensuring Women's Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights for Sustainable Development. The event was held in line with the first Southeast Asia Regional Group meeting of the International Epidemiological Association. The panel comprised of national and international experts.
Sri Lanka has the lowest maternal mortality ratio in the South Asia region at around 39 deaths per 100,000 live births. And almost 100% of the births in the country are attended by skilled health practitioners. In fact, the maternal mortality ratio has been stagnant for decades. For many other health indicators, such as contraceptive prevalence rate and teenage pregnancy, we have not seen much progress for decades either. We need a fundamental system-level change to address the last-mile challenges.
In Primetime News, thank you very much for joining us. Good night.